How's it going, everybody? Fernando, the Lone Star Halo, joined here by Todd. He's Foxy, the
And
Fox Man.
the finger point extraordinaire.
Hey, you can't do that with one finger. It's you have to like put your whole body into it. Anyway, we're gonna talk about all that. We're gonna learn how to point, all that and more coming up next.
Hey, you are now listening or watching the Halos in the Infield podcast, sponsored in part by Noble L Works over on 1621 South Sinclair, where you can get discounts by just mentioning HITI, Halos in the Infield. Drink discounts on us, baby. And also by 714 Tickets, 714 Tickets, 714 Tickets. The price you see is the price you get, and you also get 10% additionally off in the Apply Now code once you order your tickets just by mentioning HITI, Halos in the Infield. Now enjoy the show.
In the land of Astros, I play my part with the Halos in the infield. I'll make my mark. I'm the Lone Star Halo, shining bright tonight. In a sea of painters, I'll stand and fight with the Halos in the outfield under stadium lights. From Texas to Anaheim, we'll soar to new heights. We'll soar to new heights.
Hey, welcome in as Fernando is lifting weights.
Oh, didn't see you there. How's it
Was
going?
that you're up to 500 right now or what?
Yep, 500, boy.
All right.
That's the 20s.
So what we got on
Somebody
store
didn't
for
say
us
the
today?
big 20.
We'll
No
get
one
into that later.
carries bigger 20s than me. Just saying. Just
There you
saying.
go. So what kind of trouble are we going to get ourselves into on this podcast?
Well, let's see. We can talk a little bit about the Brave series, but primarily, you and I haven't gotten to do an episode together in a little while. And last week, I did an episode by myself where I talked about the reasons why we should keep watching. I kind of want to like dive into that a little bit more because you've alluded to it a little bit on your post-game shows, where you talked about like, hey, I'm pretty out of this, and most of our audience is out too. What are some enticing reasons why Angels fans might still want to watch?
It's always the one that they've used since day one in Bally's is, hey, come watch the young guys. And to a point, they've been kind of correct. We also have the little shiny little keys being dangled over our cribs as more might come up. Another kid that looks dominating in the minors. It gives you a reason to watch in September because maybe he'll be a September call-up. You want to see the added progression by these guys. But for me, Fernando, the last, I'd say 2-3 weeks, we've seen an ultimate regression. I thought the hitting was really bad last year, and I wanted to see them make that next level to get better. And I knew it wasn't going to be all sunshine and lollipops, but I wanted to see some progression. And for a while we did this season, but bro, the last about half a month and now into this series with the Royals tonight, they're miserable with runners in scoring position. They're miserable at the plate in key situations, or adjustments still have not changed. They've actually gotten worse. And to answer your question, all the stuff that I wanted to watch, the progression of the bullpen, the starters taking a next step, who's going to be the leader, whatnot, that gets wiped away when you're consistently seeing the same type of baseball every night.
Yeah, you had alluded to it on your post-game show that you're overwatching specific kind of guys. I know we can both probably agree, and most of the Angels fans out there, Brandon Drury should have been gone a long time ago. You know what? He was injured to start the year. He had a lot of like small kind of nagging injuries. Okay, you kind of give the guy the benefit of the doubt. But right now, there's no real reason why he should be hitting half of his body weight even.
Mm-hmm.
The guy's not even flirting with 200. What's he batting right now? Is it 130 something?
It's like 161.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's no reason why a guy like that should be at the minor league. Yeah, 164 now with 1 home run and 10 RBIs.
Yeah.
37 hits this season. That's terrible. It's absolutely pitiful. There's no reason why. I mean, and you can say this. I mean, we're the worst team in our division right now where we currently stand, right? Are we still in last place?
Yeah, we're still. Well, I think we're tied for last place, but I think as far as divisional records, Oakland's got a better one, of course, because the Angels. That's what me and you have talked about the last 2 years. A key to winning this division, or at least being competitive, you have to beat the teams in your division. Even though they've cut the games down that you play your division, you still should have a winning record in your division.
And that's what makes them more valuable now.
Yeah, and if you want to compete, that's what you need to do. And the Angels, since what 2020, have had a losing record in their division every year.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons why this team just isn't contending. I mean, the division record is part of it, but obviously there is just a lot wrong with how this team is being run. And I don't mean necessarily by Ron Washington. I don't hate what Ron Washington's doing. I think the guy's doing what he can to put lipstick on a pig. It's really the front office. I mean, a lot of us have said that they feed him a lineup. They tell him, hey, I want this guy out of the pen first, and this guy gets in trouble. This goes here. You know what I mean? I feel like Ron Washington just kind of is given this playbook, and he's not exactly able to manage with his gut. Because we've seen what Ron Washington can do in other organizations. When we had Heath Bell on, he was talking about how lackadaisical Joe Madden was. He didn't say that about Ron Washington because Ron Washington isn't lackadaisical. Yeah, he can be, but which manager in Major League Baseball isn't going to be relaxed if they're continuously winning?
Correct.
If you are winning, I have no problem with, hey, you know what? Let's take batting practice off today. We're on a 5-game winning streak. We got in late from New York, Pittsburgh, whatever. I can live with that kind of stuff. But, when you have guys like Phil Nevin or Joe Madden, we're not going to take batting practice today. It's like, what are we doing? When there's – honestly, I don't even understand what's in it. Why a guy like Brandon Marsh is – I could talk, I promise. Brandon Drury. That was the name I was looking for. There's no reason why that guy should still be at the major league level right now. There's no reason that guy should even be in the organization right now. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, to feed off of what you were talking about earlier, and I forgot to bring it up, but it was a good point. I was going to say at the end of the season, Brandon Drury and number 6's numbers should be put back to back for their accomplishments on 2 key positions on this team, what they put up as far as numbers for an entire year. And a lot of us blame Moniak and Adele because, they're batting 200. They're not coming through in the clutch. But look what those 2 idiots have done all year. You could blame a lot of guys on this team. There's a lot of fingers to be pointed, speaking of pointing fingers, at certain players. But I think the biggest fingers you got to point them at freaking Drury and number 6.
Yeah, Rendon's batting 235, no home runs, 6 RBIs. Hey, if you have as many home runs as Rendon over there, raise your hand. Everyone, raise your hand. Raise your hand. Yeah, it's terrible. The difference is between Drury and Rendon. Rendon's one of the highest paid infielders in Major League Baseball. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think he is the highest paid third baseman AAV.
Could be, yeah.
So that's my point. I mean, Brandon Drury, at least he has the excuse of like, oh, well, he had a solid year last year. It was fine. It was respectable. But this year, he's terrible. There's no reason why they should be up here. Now, what's your opinion on Christian Moore?
I'm excited. But, if this was a perfect world and this is a well-run organization, Fernando, I would love for him to spend at least one season in the minors, whether it's traveling back and forth from AA to AAA. I want to see him put up his confidence of just belting every home run at every park he possibly can, doubling, keeping that average around 400 and just blowing away everyone in the MLB saying, man, this guy is like the number 1 prospect coming out of the Angels because, who else is better than him right now? But the fact that we would have a guy like that, at least a hitter, that is going to be a threat when we call up, like a guy, it's like a can't miss that everyone can get excited over. I don't think Adele got a chance to get to that point. I don't think Moore is going to get to the point, but the long-winded answer, I'm excited, but also worried at the same time. Well,
you said if this was a well-run organization. So with that being said, it's not. So this guy's got 58 at-bats in the minors. He's batting .414, 6 home runs, 13 RBIs, and that's between low A, Inland Empire, and the Trash Pandas.
Mhm.
Now, we've heard from guys like Gooby, your favorite, that he used to play for the Royals. But besides that, in all those Royal stories,
He officially went in their Hall of Fame today. Did you know that?
I saw that.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Jokes aside, good for him.
Yeah, congratulations.
Good for him. Absolutely. He was definitely a great pitcher in their organization. Definitely not a good Angels pitcher, but
No.
a good Kansas City Royal. But between all those conversations he has about home runs, solo shots, launch
Mhm.
angle,
Mhm.
and him wearing tight shirts that they're giving the kids away.
Yeah.
He does that between commercial breaks. He has talked about these guys coming up and when the right time to do that. There's the tough thing is that Christian Moore really should get time to marinate. But
Mhm.
unfortunately, I just don't think he's going to get that opportunity. But also, I mean, are we really going to be that angry as fans if he does come up?
No, because we need something to cheer for.
Exactly.
Because I believe that right now this team, the way it is, it's you fall down 2-3 runs, the game's over. There's no rally, there's no putting hits together. It reminds me, Fernando, of when I first started playing the show. And the show was different from other video games, at least that I had played, baseball ones. And I was up there like power swing, power swing, power swing, not knowing that you had to move the toggle switch, the left or the right one, depending on your buttons to match up if you wanted to hit it one low in the zone, up in the zone, left. Because I was
guess the pitch.
Yeah, I was doing the guess to pitch stuff. And I was wondering, man, why is my season starting out so crappy? I'm 2-8. I have a bunch of strikeouts, a bunch of pop-ups, a bunch of ground outs, and the way that I had the pitching up, I made the levels a little bit more harder to where the balls were moving, and I'm like, man, I'm not adjusting to the pitches. I'm not
like a true angel.
Yeah, and I was an angel before the Angels. It seemed like.
Yeah.
So the point being is, I feel like the Angels, as they're constructed right now, the scouting reports they're given, like you said, they're told to swing a certain way from upstairs. Ron's just there as a figurehead. They are basically playing like the show, like hitting the power button every time. There's no contact swing. There's no, trying to square up the ball. It's pathetic.
What's your opinion on we talked about a young core. We know who part of the young core is, for anyone who might be new here. It's Neto, Shanuel, Ohapi, those are kind of like your core three right now. And then you have guys like Rengifo who are still under control going into next year. I don't think he's going anywhere. And then obviously Christian Moore, when and if he does come up, will be part of that, core for sure. Honestly, very solid infield. You and I had talked off air on the phone about how exciting that potential infield could be. You know what? You have Rengifo over at third base. Maybe you put Rendon in there one day a week. Great. We're going to have the highest paid bench player of all time. But honestly, it might be better that way, if you want me to be honest with you. But Neto and Moore up the middle is going to be fun. It could be very much like seeing Ibar and Kendrick together. But dare I say, this is going to be a better combo.
Yeah, I think the infield is something to be excited about, especially if you say Rengifo stays. Somehow you can cut number 6. We talked about this a couple podcasts ago. Obviously Ohapi behind the plate, whether they keep Theis or not, which I'd like them to keep him as a backup. Your infield is set. All you'd have to do is make up your mind if you're going to bring back Moniak, make up your mind if you're going to give Adele another shot, and possibly bring in an outfielder to another outfielder. I don't know the contract status. I heard it's 1 year left. They still have control over Taylor Ward. I don't want him back.
I think he's got 2 more years of control left. I'm
going to be so pissed, bro. Like this was his year to hit his ceiling and he couldn't do it. I don't want to see him anymore. I'm more than over him, bro.
Yeah, so he's a free agent after the 2026 season.
Oh, great.
So he's still got 2 more years left. Well, my opinion is if Taylor Ward is a guy who's coming off the bench, I'm okay with that.
But we're in trouble again, bro, and you know it if he's anywhere close to 3-4 hitting in the lineup.
Oh, no, absolutely. Absolutely. So a couple days ago on the question of the day, and if any of you guys don't follow us on social media, Make sure you follow us on social media so you can participate in the question of the day. We post those about 5 or 6 days a week. And if you don't already follow us, Todd will personally go over to your house and yank off all your toenails.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's a big toenail yanker. He has a giant jar of them.
I start with a toe.
They put him in the Kathy's cookies.
Oh, man. It's the new macadamia nuts.
Oh no!
Or the coconut shavings.
Oh no, that's disgusting. Oh, I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, me too.
That was just so disgusting. Well, see, you're a foot guy. I'm not, so we probably lost it for different reasons.
You suck, Fernando. But go ahead.
Yeah. So, all this to say, Taylor Ward. If he's batting, 3, 4, 5, I completely agree with you. If he's a guy coming off your bench and he's batting 7, 8, 9, that's fine. But outfield, we've gotten many people saying, hey, we don't need to get any big free agents this year. But you and I talked off air that if there's a year to go out there and actually spend money on an outfielder in the free agency market, this might be the year. And the reason for that is we don't exactly have a lot of organizational depth. You got Ward, you have Trout, and then you have Adele and Moniak. Neither of those guys have options. I don't think both of those guys stay in an Angels uniform going into next season. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
Unless you get rid of Ward. Because you got to get rid of one of those, or, it's kind of like low-key a logjam, but it also isn't, because like when you hear the term logjam, you kind of want there to be a bunch of good options, not a bunch of mediocre options. You know what I mean? It's kind of like if I'm like, okay, today we can have McDonald's, Burger King, or God, what's another just average fast food burger?
Jack in the Box.
Jack in the Box. I think Jack in the Box is the best out of those three. But I don't think that's much of a debate either.
The Whataburger, then.
Definitely, that's wrong. The point is, so it's just three like average options. Like, yeah, it's food. You know what I mean? It's something to eat. It's something it's a body to put out there. But Taylor Ward, he's not going to impress anybody with his glove. Almost quite the opposite, actually. Joe Adele, I think he's serviceable this year defensively. I don't think he's going to take the world by storm. But this year, I haven't felt that he's as much of a defensive liability. His base running at times is still atrocious. And that's another issue I have with Joe Adele, because I feel like if he has speed, a lot of speed, if he can just increase his base running IQ a little bit, he can make a solid career out of being a base runner. You and I had also talked off air about guys like Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts wasn't a phenomenal baseball player. He was a great defender and one of the best base runners in baseball. Literally made a career out of being a pinch runner.
Yeah, I mean, and Adele, you got to get on base so that you can steal bases, because he's proven that.
Yeah, it's another problem.
Yeah, he can be a gazelle out there and steal some bases, be a very, very troublesome. But I think the reason why he makes all these base running blunders, whether it's when he does get on base or trying to get on base, is the fact that he's not on base enough. Like through his career, he's always been an underperformer, batting average and on base percentage. So he's been getting picked off. He's overran bases. He's turned. I mean, simple things.
Yeah, that game a couple days ago where the ball was hit to third base, the third baseman threw it across his body over to first, and Joe Adele's rounding first when there's a force play at first. Well, it's an automatic force play. You don't really have to say that, but you know what I mean, folks.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you turning to go to second? Because what if the first baseman's foot got off the base? Well, all of a sudden you already showed intent to go to second, so they can just tag you out.
Yeah, it's one of those petty plays that happen in baseball, but it's a rule. It's a rule that's been around forever. They teach you in Little League.
You run through the base.
Yeah, and even Steve Lee's told me that's the reason why Mike Trout runs to his right after he gets like either a ground out or he gets a base hit. He beats one out. He runs to his right because he doesn't want to take that unnecessary step or make a mistake. So he runs to his right and then turns around and comes back the other way. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I never see him go straight up the line or even veer to the left. So that's something you learn really early. And again, a lot of times I'm torn because I'm one of those Angel fans, not honking my honk, but I want Adele to be that, that 1A, that 1B,
Yeah.
to Mike Trout. We're looking for that Robin to be to Batman now that the Joker and the Traitor is gone, number 17. So we wanted another hero to emerge, and it hasn't happened. And we all thought a couple seasons ago, even with 17 here, you would have Adele ascend to that next level, and you'd be like, okay, not only is this guy a physical specimen, but he's also a specimen on the plate, on the bases, and hitting home runs, but not there.
Yeah, I really wanted Joe Adele to work out for the simple fact of the organization went all in on him.
Correct.
They decided to get rid of Brandon Marsh in the Logan O'Happy trade. And, that's been a good trade for both sides so far. And hopefully it continues to be a good trade for both sides. But with that being said, they gave Joe Adele the keys to the convertible right there. You know what I mean? They're like, essentially, this is your spot. And he just hasn't really earned it yet. Now, I do truly believe that Joe Adele has what it takes to be a major leaguer. Now, am I saying that I think he could be an all-star like I used to think he would be one day?
Mhm.
No. Because I think there was a time where we were all, hey, man, this Joe Adele guy is killing it in, low A, high A, double A, triple A. He was killing it everywhere he was going. So with that being said, we were excited when he got drafted. He looked great. And even a couple times when he got his flashes of opportunity in like spring training, we were like, okay, hey, this guy's kind of good. And he just hasn't really been able to put it together for long stretches of time. Very, very streaky. So is Taylor Ward. Streaky. No consistency. There's been another podcast that's mentioned Matt Dice is the kind of batter who doesn't change his bat trajectory. He has the same swing every time. And Taylor Ward's almost the same kind of way.
Yeah.
Very, very good at scooping the ball up. If the ball's like down at his kneecaps, he's very good at scooping the ball up, putting it over the fence. Good at driving it into the gap, over the outfielder's head. All of that. He's definitely got power, when he pulls the ball on those low pitches, especially low breaking pitches. But the problem is, this is Major League Baseball. The second that you start to get hot, or the second that you feel that you're in a rhythm, something's working for you, these pitchers adapt. And that's what separates high, 4A guys and major leaguers, the ability to adjust. And I just haven't seen that out of Taylor Ward yet.
Yeah, you know what? Speaking of, since you brought up 4A, I always think of, Grillmaster when he says 4A Shohei and he starts like ripping on guys who struggle. He's like, oh, Hoppy's 4A. And I'm like, oh, come on now, stop. That's a terrible take. But now I'm starting to think they have 4A swings, because like you said, they don't adjust. And what drives me up one side and down the other, forget us on this network. The fans that watch us or listen to us or watch the games without even paying attention to us can see the overwhelming problems just in a Taylor Ward swing. His inability to pick up a pitch that's coming right down the middle so he freezes himself and strikes out. The fact that literally in tonight's game, the catcher came up to the pitcher, Lugo, and said, hey, just throw everything on the outside. We're down. We got the first two guys on. Now we got the last two guys out. Let's go ahead and strike this guy out. And what did they do? They stayed away. He swung at stupid pitches, and then he waited on one, and then Lugo's like, I'm going to burn him with a fastball down the middle. Burned him with a fastball down the middle to strike him out. So my thing is there's no adjustment. He's still doing the long swing, trying to pull the ball on outside pitches. You've seen it. I've seen it. Rob's seen it. Everyone has seen it. Yet this organization doesn't do anything about it.
I mean, it's been like that for a while, seemingly. But once again, you have to wonder how much control does this coaching staff have? Do they have to compete with the front office, like wanting a specific type of ball player? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. But
Also, we've talked a lot of crap about Perry in the past, but I don't think Perry's telling him like, "Hey, I want launch angle guys. I want to, lead the league in home runs." Perry doesn't strike me like that kind of guy either. Actually, honestly, on the contrary, I think Perry's probably more of a small ball type of cat.
yeah, he is to a degree. But the thing that I get upset with is, again, you know, like a guy like Joe Madden really could have gave us good insight, you know, as far as what's going on with the organization. He could have, he's danced around it a little bit, but he's never come out there and said, okay, well, Perry was up to this, or Epler was up to this. He could have came out and thrown it, because this has been a problem for some time in the organization, the way that this team goes about hitting. And, we used to think about it a couple of years ago and say that's more of a conspiracy theory. Like you wouldn't land on okay, I see it's coming from up above, or there's a really good chance it is. We don't know definitively, but there's a really good chance. We weren't thinking that a couple of years ago, but I think along with last year and now this year, because of who they put in charge, like you said, Ron Washington, capable coaches, why is this team still sputtering its wheels? And that, to me, is the only answer, bro, the one you just talked about.
Yeah, I mean, I think the front office, whether that's I don't think it's Artie directly. Artie's definitely responsible for a lot of issues in this organization, but there's no way in hell that man's making the lineup. You know what I mean? We always compare him to a guy like Jerry Jones, because Jerry Jones is another involved owner. But the difference is, like, Jerry Jones,
the team passed him by, or the league passed him by.
yeah, but guys like Jerry Jones, Al Davis, like, they were legitimately making the roster. They were legitimately making the depth chart. They were the ones making the calls on, hey, I want Todd to start over Aaron Rodgers today. You know what I mean? Like, that's the difference. Mm-hmm. I don't think Perry's up there like, hey, I want Jose Soriano to come up from AAA. Oh, he doesn't know who Jose Soriano is. You know what I mean? I don't think he can name probably half the guys in this organization, if I'm going to be honest with you. Where, I feel like a guy like Perry probably has his finger on the pulse. I think Perry's issue is more so having to, maybe he just listened to the wrong baseball guys. I don't know. Because it's like, we were super excited when they made the hires from the guys from Driveline. You know what I mean? Because Driveline, notorious for taking pitchers and fixing them. And this organization has not been able to ever do that, right? We tried it with guys like Dylan Bundy, Lord Bundy. Tried it with guys like Trevor Cahill. We tried it with the Dark Knight, Matt Harvey. Yep. So, there's a list of guys that we've tried to revitalize their career. And you have all those failed guys and the very small pile of guys who we helped. Alex Cobb, ? Like, is that it?
Yeah, I mean, there was Cobb. There was Bundy, because he got a contract after us, at least.
Yeah, but so did Trevor Cahill, right? And Matt Harvey. I'm pretty sure they both went somewhere after us.
True.
They just didn't have very much success.
But then again, no matter what we do, it's like watching the post this morning, what we even posted on our page or from other pages, when they're like, hey, we got the new pitcher now. What was his name? They brought him up. We just got him off of waivers. They called him up.
Oh,
the one with dreads.
The dreads.
Yeah, the one we got from Miami.
Oh, God, I don't know.
Oh, okay. Johnny Cueto.
Oh, Johnny Cueto. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you said we just got him and we just brought him up, I'm like thinking like prospect. I'm like, prospect.
Oh, no. I meant to say, like, the honks came in right away. They were like, oh, we got Johnny Cueto. So my thing is back in the day, a few years ago, when we were bringing up hitters, everyone would be like, but can he pitch? It's like you're bringing up Cueto. The pitching is not the problem. My question is, can he hit?
Maybe he wasn't in the NL for a while, so that'd be a fun question. You know what? I will say this. Call me a honk all you want, but I'm excited about Johnny Cueto. I used to love Johnny Cueto with the Reds.
Well, yeah, that was fun about 4 or 5 years ago, but we're getting Johnny Cueto today. And again, even if
he's got a career 101 batting average, put him in, dude. He's almost as good as Brandon Drury. Put him in, dog.
He's probably got more home runs than both Drury and what is it called, number 6 this year. I mean, all I'm saying is, I Johnny Cueto would have been nice on a team that's trying to fight for a postseason spot. I get it; he's gonna pitch good, but Fulmer's not pitching bad. I'm not saying Fulmer's a starter or nothing, but he's doing the best he can. These pitchers, it's not the problem, bro. We're not scoring again tonight.
Dude, my guy's got 0 home runs in 545 career at-bats. He's got a 101 batting average. He's got 18 RBIs and 1 stolen base. I'm excited for that 1 stolen base.
I'm still feeling pretty good about that right now.
Hey, man, put him at second.
Exactly.
Put him at second till Moore comes up. Bring up Simo.
Simo would be the answer right now. I mean, you need instant offense, but even then, it's like, bro, you gave me a solo home run. That's fine. But again, that's not what we need. What we need is contagious hitting. We need guys getting on base, keeping the pressure on the pitchers. And we saw it in the first month and a half of the season. It looked like the tide was finally changing. It looked like the Angels were playing small ball. They were hitting the other way, hit and run, stolen bases. People around here were excited for the stuff. They weren't excited for the solo blast that Trout was doing. It's like, oh, it's Trout hit a solo. Who cares?
Yeah, but here's Han Solo again.
Yeah. Did you see that double down the line that Neto got to score 2 runs and put us in the lead? That's exciting.
Hey, I'm going to say this. I'm going to try to be as positive as I possibly can about this. Why? Because I'm a Leo, and I share a birthday with John Stamos and my daughter. Is that what it was? Is that what the post was? I sent you the post.
That was a random girl. I'm like, what? What is that?
I think it was his daughter. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a lot to be excited about for these young guys. And I'll say this, Ohapi and Neto both appear to have a little bit of a clutch gene, which is not something we've seen here in a while. They've both come up with some timely hits. Ohapi got the game-tying home run on Friday against the Braves, which we were going to talk about the Braves series, but I guess not now. Well, there's not much to talk about.
There isn't. I mean, they showed up for 1 game and then disappeared the next 2. So
I don't think the Sunday game was that bad, right? Didn't we only lose 3-1?
Yeah, but only 1 run. So you're talking they scored 3 in the game 2, 3 in game 1. So 7 runs in 3 games.
I mean, so in your opinion, let me ask you this time. And maybe this would be a good question of the day. On a typical day game, how many runs should an offense score? Sometimes you're going to score 10, sometimes you're going to score 0. But in your opinion, what's like the sweet spot?
I'd say between 5 and 6. If you can get 5 or 6.
Really? That's a little high in my opinion.
It is.
I don't think routinely an offense is scoring 5 runs.
No, I get it. I mean, but then again, we've had Angel teams that did average 4 to 5 runs per game, but that's eons ago, and that's with way better talent, way better coaching, and no analytics. I think in today's game, we're getting the bottom of the barrel. The analytics, we're getting the bottom of the barrel of the adjustments, and we do have the talent, Fernando. And I'll say it again, we can manufacture runs. We just refuse to do it. And if you're scoring 3 or less, I don't care who you have pitching, bro. We're going to lose every time.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think it's very much like hockey. In hockey, you want to score about 3.5 goals. Obviously, that means you want to hit 4. And I think baseball is the same kind of thing, right? 3.5 is the goal, right? Because sometimes you're going to score 2, sometimes you're going to score 4. But in my opinion, if your offense scores anything more than 3 runs, they gave you an opportunity to win a game. But that's kind of where you want to be, 3 runs or more. So I know we're going to slowly start wrapping up here. I want to bring up some of these free agent names coming up in the outfield because we both kind of agree that the outfield is going to be the biggest area of concern this offseason. I would really like a solid number 2 in the rotation pitcher. I think you probably would too. And, we have time to get to the, talk free agency and all that. Plenty. But some of these outfield names, Juan Soto, Cody Bellinger, Alex Verdugo, Michael Conforto, Joey Gallo, Tyler O'Neill, Jock Peterson, Anthony Santander. And the list does go on. Do you see the Angels going after maybe one of those like middle tier type guys? Because, Juan Soto, I don't think he leaves. Cody Bellinger does have to opt out. But, if a guy like him, Verdugo or Conforto, hit the free agency market, would you like to see any of them potentially help this outfield?
I said it before the beginning of the season. I think Santander is going to be an Angel. I
would love that.
I think he's destined to be an Angel, man. I would be remiss if he's not patrolling right or left field for us. I think we at least get him.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Your boy Aaron Hicks is also going to be available. I want to throw that out there. Hunter Renfroe, running back.
Can't wait to do that. Might as well sign Ward to an extension.
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah, once you get past Santander, I mean, there's really not too much else to be excited about. I mean, Jerickson Profar could be a good option, like maybe a little cheaper. Teoscar Hernandez of the Dodgers. I don't know why Kevin Kiermaier here. He's retiring.
I think he would fit in if the Dodgers weren't willing to retain him. I know they got a ton of prospects, and like you said before, a logjam is definitely in the Dodgers organization. So Teoscar Hernandez and Santander, along with maybe Adele patrolling center, while you put Trout at DH, I would be okay with that.
Yeah, okay. I can live with that. I do want to point out, starting pitchers, Garrett Cole's available if he opts out. I'm just saying, what if he opts out? The Angels pay him a ton of money, and he gets hurt after his first start. That's the Halo way, folks. I'm knocking on wood now, but it's the Halo way.
It would have been one of those to where if that were to happen and like he goes out with Tommy John or like an Achilles or something, we'll be like, you see, we should have got him years ago. But no, someone wanted Rendon.
Dude, I'm not even going to get excited. Honestly, if we get a guy like that, I'm not going to get excited until maybe like halfway through the season. If they're still healthy, then I'll invest in a jersey and all that. Until then, anybody we sign, I'm not buying any merchandise.
I'll tell you this. I will turn on my inner honk if we get a pitcher that's already gone through the Tommy John process. So say, for instance, a Walker Buehler steps up to us and we sign him. I'll be like, okay, he's already gone through the hardest part, injury. That can't happen to us again, right? Right?
I mean, I don't know. We had the most generational talented player in the world in Shohei Ohtani. That guy got 2 Tommy John surgeries here. So
that's what I'm saying. Lightning can't strike twice, right, Fernando?
I don't know. I mean, Anthony Rendon got hurt going pee in the urinal. I heard. I heard his pee got stuck in the urinal cake. It got infected, and then he went to go get a McDonald's. And the Big Mac sauce spilled on it, soaked through his pants, and now he's out for 6 weeks.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it. That special sauce is a mother effort.
Yeah, exactly.
But like you said, I mean, there's not much to touch on that Brave series. The hitting was inept again. I mean, come on now. They're not doing anything. I think that's been the biggest disappointment. Like we talked off air, I can't wait for the final show of the year to where we get everyone together and we talk about grades and maybe expound on each player, give each person's final take on that set player or set coach, because I've got a lot to say.
Oh, we know you do. That's why you do a post-game show every night. Check it out. Check it on the channel.
But I will be very brief about the pitching. I'll guarantee you that right now. But I will deep dive on them hitters, man, because I've been severely disappointed with the way we've been hitting this year. Runners, bro, we had an 0 for 53 with runners in scoring position, barely snapped with that set Ohtani home run that you talked about.
The one on Friday.
Yeah, they were 0 for 53 prior to that.
That sounds about right, man. I mean, situational hitting just hasn't run very deep, honestly, in this organization for a while. I can't tell you the last time we've had runners in scoring position with like 1 out, and I'm like, we've got this. We're at least gonna get a run here.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, dude, the last like half a decade, if we have bases loaded with no outs, I'm like, God, just get one. You know what I mean? Most of the time, if it's a good team with timely hitting, you're like, oh, bases loaded, no outs, we're gonna get 2 or 3 here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, you got Gooby, hey, let's get a grand slam. And you got Trent Rush, hey, let's go to OGs.
Yeah, it's like the other night I mentioned in the post game, you get the lead runner on, you're down 2 runs on Sunday against the Braves. Right away, Wayne's like, well, right now Neto's second on the team with home runs. It's like, bro, can we just try to get a hit or get on base? And then right after that, during the at-bat, Gooby's like, well, hey, it's 2-0 right now. Now you want to adjust your launch angle to try to drive one. It's like, no, Dick, get a hit.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah, I've got no problem if when they're like, hey, this would be a really good time to drive one in the gap. Like, okay, because that's situational hitting.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? A good major leaguer is able to drive the ball into the gap. And most of the time, if you have a runner on second and third with like 1 out, that's what you want to do. You want to get a double in the left or right field gap. That's guaranteed to score 2 runs. You know what's not guaranteed to score any runs? Swinging for the fences. Why? Because, like you said, almost any of us who have ever played baseball or softball know that if you are swinging for the fences, there is a very, very low chance, unless your name is Barry Bonds, that you're going to be able to put it over the fence. There is not a lot of baseball or softball players out there that can think home run and can hit a home run. It just doesn't work. Anytime that I think I've hit like 1 home run in my life. But any like just deep ball I've ever hit are the ones where you don't even know you hit it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Where like you swing and you're like, what? You hit it, so you start running, and everyone's like, oh, bro, it went over the fence. You're like, what? I didn't even feel it. So that's how you hit a home run. You don't think about it. You just try to make good contact. Good timing, good contact. Boom.
Yeah, my most clutch home run I ever hit, dude, not to sound like Gooby, but I hit it over one of the deepest parks I ever played at, and it went over the left center field wall, which was, I think, 415 at the time, and I thought I was just hitting a gapper, and it just kept carrying, and I was already on my way to first and almost there, running really hard, trying to stretch it into a double, and the ball went over the fence, and I'm like, holy crap. It was seeing the umpire do this, and the first baseman put his head down before I realized, oh, God, it's gone. What?
Oh,
so it looked like you said, when you're in the batter's box, I mean, I never was like a consistent home run hitter. I hit a few, but most of the time it was just getting the barrel on the bat or the barrel of the bat on the ball, and good things would happen.
When the field's only 415 centimeters, that's, it's going to happen. You didn't specify. It was centimeters.
Yeah.
You played in Canada.
Stupid. But I mean, I've got nothing else on this team right now. Like, to answer your question in the beginning, I do want to see progression. I think more will keep people watching. The pitching definitely won't, even though they're doing good, even though the bullpen's doing good. You shut down Soriano. You got Ben Joyce. But other than that,
Soriano's just on the IL, right? He hasn't been shut down for the year, I don't think.
I have a feeling they will. Whenever you get that arm fatigue, why bring him back?
That's fair. I mean, my hope for Soriano is that he isn't going to be a Jaime Barria. So Jaime Barria, if memory serves correctly, came up in 2017 or 2018 for the first time in his career, and he was great his rookie year, and everyone's like, hey, this guy's going to be great for us. And he just never repeated his success.
Yeah, he flamed out.
And that's my only worry with Jose Soriano. I love the guy, super excited to see what he could do. I certainly don't think that he would be an ace on any other in any other team. But this guy is a solid major league pitcher, and I really think he is. So I would love if we can get a number 1 type guy in the rotation, because I don't think we're going to find that this year in the free agency market. Even if you get Garrett Cole or you get a Shane Bieber, Garrett Cole got injured this year, so we don't know what we're going to get out of a guy like him. Shane Bieber, great pitcher when he's healthy, but That's the problem. So there are guys like that who can be number one in the rotations that are on the market. But unfortunately, you kind of have to try to build your own guy. And I think Jose Soriano can definitely be a friend into the rotation guy. I really want to see him do it again for a whole season. Because this year, he got enough shakes to impress most of us, right? It wasn't a flash in the pan. It was a good sample size. But I want to see him do it for year 2 because that's when it really matters, right? Anyone can get lucky once.
Yeah, he's got the stuff to do it, I think. But the problem is, that's what made me leery, where I actually wanted him to be shut down. The way they jerked him around from a starter to a 3-inning guy back to a starter, it's like, bro, or a setup guy too. He had 4 different roles before the season started. So you got to go in there, like you said, if he comes out there given the ball to be in that rotation and he does good things next year, yeah, he's the real deal after that. But yeah, I definitely, I'm on board with what you had to say right there.
I want to see his velo go down a little bit too. We know he can gun it at 100, and that's exciting, but this guy's not coming out of the bullpen. Ben Joyce going at 104.5 miles an hour is for 15 to 20 pitches is significantly different than a guy going 98 to 101, 50 to 60 times a game. You know what I mean? The rest are breaking pitches. That's not sustainable. It's like Paul Skeens. I love the guy. I love Paul Skeens. If we had the opportunity, I would trade everything in the farm system. I know our farm system is not impressive, but I would give up everything for Paul Skeens because I think Paul Skeens is going to be that kind of pitcher for Pittsburgh. But the problem is I'm very worried about that guy's long-term health in terms of being a pitcher in Major League Baseball. Why? Because anytime you're throwing 101, 102, 103 for 60 or 70 pitches a game, it's probably not going to bode very well long term.
That's true.
So, but I've never been a pitcher, so I mean, I could very well be wrong. These guys are world class athletes. They Chick-fil-A and they take good care of their bodies. So,
we'll have to ask Rob about that one.
Yeah, exactly. He was the pitcher of the group. So
yeah, exactly.
But man, yeah, that's what I got. Look at this. We told ourselves, well, we'll see if we have enough to talk about today. And almost an hour in. Happens every time.
1 hour later.
Yeah, exactly. But, man, it was nice to do this podcast again. I have to remind everyone, thank you to our sponsors. Check out 714 Tickets. My girlfriend's going out of town to go visit her mom. Just visit her parents, I should say. And I'm going to go with a buddy of mine for the Rangers versus A's game here. And I'm going to use 714 Tickets. That's the reason why I brought it up. You know what code I'm going to use?
What are you going to use?
Locked On. Just kidding. I'm going to use HITI, HITI at checkout. Why? Because you don't got to deal with those pesky fees like some of those other guys. All in pricing. Who needs that? Fees like StubHub and all that other stuff. Not at 714 Tickets. The price you see, well, that's the price you pay. But the best part, use the code HITI at checkout. Get yourself 10% off. And they're going to give you 5% back for future purchases. If you want to get hammered before you go watch an Angels game, because you can't go watch an Angels game unless you're hammered, you head on over to, I'm just kidding, drink responsibly. Head on over to Noble Ale Works. And the best part, you don't have to pay that pesky man with the mustache. Some people would call him Dollar General Walt Disney for parking.
I wouldn't even call him that, dude. I mean,
you wouldn't even call Artie the Dollar General Walt Disney?
He has to be, not even Family Dollar. Don't disrespect him. He's the bankrupt 99-cent store.
Ooh, he's the bankrupt monopoly man.
There you go. he's the one you want to kick his ass into jail. You know that jail card. Yeah,
that's fair. And if you like Italian food, head on over to Mazos Calzones.
And get yourself some wings too. Best wings in town. Those are delicious. 7 different flavors right there for your partaking.
I'm a giant wing guy, so when I do go out to SoCal, it's gonna have to include.
Well, see, the thing is, when I went there, I'm a fatty and I'm a foodie. So I went there and I'm like, wait a minute, there's only 6 wings to this order. That sucks. You're getting ripped off. No, dude, those wings are freaking fat. and not filled with fat. They're filled with meat.
Fat.
Yes, they're fat. And
Did the chair do an episode about the wings?
yes, he did, and he did a live performance on it. He loved them.
Okay.
So yeah,
I trust his food reviews.
Yes, the wings were amazing. So you definitely get filled on those 6 wings, man.
Okay, all right, yeah, I'm gonna have to because I'm a big wing guy. But I'm telling you, we got to have an exclusive flavor. We just have to. It's got to be hot.
It's coming. It's
The
coming.
hitty heat. The hitty heat.
Or the high heater.
Ah, yeah, I like that too.
Mm-hmm.
But man, yeah, that's what I have for all of us. We really thank all of our sponsors. Follow us on all of our social media. Like I said, we post a question of the day about 5 to 6 times a week. Make sure to get on that, respond to those questions, and be involved on social media.
All right. So for Todd, Fox, and
The Lone Star Halo.
take it easy. Go Angels.
Viva los Angelitos.